What's going on, guilty guys and gals? I've hit 3,000 subscribers as of today, and you know what that means? It's time to change my opinions. Just kidding. I'm not changing my opinions. I'm adjusting them. Because as time has gone on, my previous tier list video has gone out of date. Because as time goes on, opinions change. That much is just true. So we're doing it again. This time, there's no organizing because I don't know why. I just want to kind of go off the cuff on this one. I feel like sometimes, like, when I was doing it in the other one, I was comparing them directly to other characters, and also the fact that I already had some characters up changed my opinions of others. So we're just going with whatever random loadout they had, and we're going to do this, starting with Akane. Also, weeb tier for all the weeb characters. Still not watching the anime. You can't make me. I know apparently it, like, fixes Monica, but it's not worth it for me. And then weird problematic tier is just like weird characters that I don't quite understand, and also this one. Okay, let's get into it. So first off, I actually don't know if you can even see. I had to do some adjusting on my OBS thing, but this one was this guy. Anyway, so yeah, let's just start. So first is Akane. Akane, I still don't really like at all. She has no character development. That's my problem. She's set on track for character development. She's like, what if I just took a left and got no character development? So yeah, she stays in D tier. There's nothing I can really say. She's nice enough, but she's just a disappointing character as things go, especially for someone who made it all the way to the end of the game. There's a few of those. We'll get to them. Next is Angie. Apparently a lot of people don't like Angie. I don't quite get that one. Angie's pretty neat, but she's not like A tier. I'd say she's like either the highest C tier or like low B tier. I'm gonna go with highest C. She's at least entertaining, and she is kind of nice, but she's also a crazy cult leader. So we won't go too crazy here. Aoi. Aoi's still one of my favorites. I'm still gonna put her in A. I don't know if you can, I don't know how much of the screen you can see, because every time I pull up my OBS, it just shows OBS. Okay, you can see up to A tier with this loadout. Okay. So yeah, Aoi's just nice. That's the only reason I like her. She's nice. In a game where there's like, Toko and Hiro are idiots, Byakuya's mean, Kyoko's cold, Aoi's just a nice person. So, she wins for that. Byakuya. I can't forgive this man for being an asshole for the entirety of Danganronpa 1. And you know what? Maybe Ultra Despair Girls changes it a little bit. He's at least somewhat helpful in that in DR2. But yeah, I don't know. High D though. The highest bad character. I think I had him higher before. My opinions on him have gotten worse and worse the farther away from the game I've gotten. So Celeste is next. I think I put Celeste in C. I don't remember. But I do enjoy Celeste. She's a little bit messed up, obviously. But I feel for her in some ways. I should also mention that I haven't done the free time events for every single character in every single game, which is why some characters will be rated higher than others, despite the fact that their free time events may have shaped my opinions differently. But Celeste, I don't know. I just like Celeste. I feel like she doesn't get enough credit for being a fun character, and also, you know, she's somewhat charming. Even though it's like acting, I don't know. I still like her. Chiaki, instant S tier. Nobody didn't see that coming, though. Let's be honest. When I first started DR2, I hated the fact that Chiaki was in it. The ultimate gamer. Oh, she's like a gamer girl. Wow, that feels so, like, patronizing, you know? But she turns out to be, like, not even close to what I had imagined. Like, very useful, very, like, nice and charming. And, yeah, also, she is one of the main reasons I will never watch the anime, and it's because they made her real. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in DR2, it was heavily implied she was never real at all. She was only in the computer, the same way Hajime is only in the computer now, because he got overwritten by Izuru, which they also decanonized. So yeah, it kind of makes DR2's ending suck a little bit. And also, That's the only, like, super strong part of that entire game. So, whoops. We'll save that for another video. Chihiro. I love Chihiro. Chihiro is definitely A tier. Chihiro is so sweet. And although we spend a lot more time with Alter Ego is basically modeled after Chihiro, right? And Alter Ego is great too. So, you know, I'll meld those two into one because they don't have a separate thing. They have one for frickin' what's his face? I think I put him up here. Yeah, they have one for like, what's his name again? I don't remember. But they have one for him, the fusion weird character development character, but not for Alter Ego. So that's odd. We also have Fuyuhiko. Now, despite the fact that Fuyuhiko technically led to the death of one of my favorite characters in the entire franchise, Fuyuhiko himself is actually pretty okay in my books. Like, you know, this is what Akane could have been. Akane could have been Fuyuhiko, but she's not, because she didn't get character development in the way that Fuyuhiko did. I just wish that Fuyuhiko's character development could come from a less weird trial that felt a little thrown together. Anyway, next is Gonta. Gonta is also good. I'm going to put him under Aoi. Gonta, there's a lot of stuff that happens with Gonta, but Gonta himself is always just nice and helpful. You know? He's never like, yeah, I don't know. Gonta's nice. I like Gonta. He's funny. He's got a personality that's memorable. He doesn't really have character development, but I guess in a way he sort of does, in the way that things end for him. I don't know. That's debatable. Anyway, next is Gundam. Why do people like Gundam again? I guess because he's funny. Gundam's alright. He's, honestly, he's like Angie for me, but like less good. You know what I mean? Because Angie is interesting because she's actually terrifying for a large portion of the game. Gundam just kind of sits around and then murders somebody. Like, for no reason. The Funhouse Trial is my least favorite of all the trials in any game. And part of that is because Gundam's motive doesn't make any sense. Like, he wants to save them all. I understand that. But he also wants to fight and kill Nekomaru to do it. He didn't have to do that. I'm pretty sure, like, worst case scenario, he could have killed himself. But again, I think he's against that morally due to, well, A, Japan, but also, you know, the whole strong will survive thing. So I don't know. Maybe Gundam's motive makes sense, but I know when I first played through the trial, I thought it was stupid. I don't exactly remember why now. So maybe he would have been in D tier for right after I did that game. But, you know, Hajime is also an instant S. Is he better than Chiaki? I think so. Chiaki is an amazing character, but Hajime is the best protagonist. And the reason for that is because, the same reason as Chiaki. The ending really hurts you, man. Hajime gave up everything to try to be special. And in the end, you find out, wow, he didn't have to do that. He was special all along. Because we don't have any Izuru influence in the machine. And Hajime still saved the day. How many times? A lot of times. Just by being the sensible person without a crazy personality that gets in the way. And I love that. That's like the only Danganronpa protagonist I actually enjoy. Spoiler alert. But yeah, Hajime is great. Plus, Hajime actually like really gels with every single character in DR2. Like, I buy the fact that he could be friends with technically any of these characters through free time events. Because he's such a pushover in some ways, but he also stands up for himself, and that leads to, like, you know, interesting conversations with these people. Whereas if you go with like Makoto or Shuichi, they're a lot more, they feel a lot more hollow. You know what I mean? Especially Makoto, but, you know, that's the point. They're supposed to be more hollow. Hajime has, like, plot relevance, so. I forgot his name for a second. Hifumi. Also, you couldn't see Hajime the entire time I was talking about him, could you? God damn it. Well, he's here. You know it. You know what I'm talking about. Hifumi. Hifumi is gross, and I hate him. He just sucks. He does nothing good and then dies before anybody can remember him. He's worse than Teru in that sense, because at least Teru had like a personality you remember. Hifumi just like screams a bunch, and then Celeste punches him in the face or something. I can't remember, but he brings her tea and he like slaps him. She slaps him to the ground, and then yeah, you never really think about him again after he dies. Yoko. I do this all the time. Fine, we'll do Hiroko first. Yoko also sucks. Maybe definitely less than Byakuya, because at least Yoko tries to learn from her mistakes. But Hyoko and Mahiru's friendship I never really bought as a friendship, which again, the anime ruined that for me too. Because it paints them as like best of friends, which isn't really what happens in the game. What actually happens is Mahiru takes care of people. That's what she does, and everybody's bullying Hyoko, and so she takes care of her, and then Hyoko gets attached. So Hyoko learning from that experience and growing is actually kind of nice. I like that. That's perfectly fine. Again, it's just the anime ruining characters for me again. Do I remember your name yet? You were one of the last people to survive. It's just because it sounds like Hyoko, so now I can only think of Hyoko and only Hyoko. Not Hifumi. We just did Hifumi. God damn it, we're moving on again. Ibuki! You know what? Ibuki is going top of A tier. You might notice that I'm keeping S tier like really exclusive because, you know, it's super ultra. A is like the best. S is like, these are people I wish were real. Ibuki, you know what? I kind of wish Ibuki was real, so maybe I shouldn't put it that way. Ibuki is amazing. Ibuki is one of those characters you do not appreciate until she is gone, and I know I said that in my first one as well, because I did not appreciate her until she was gone. Plus, I might have played her free time events, and maybe that has colored my perception of her somewhat, because it's sort of shown that she's, like, really thoughtful, in a way. Like, she knows, she comes off as, like, she can't read a room, like, at all. Like, she's just always high-key, just there, screaming all the time. But it shows that she has, like, emotional depth, and she's just trying to make light of a bad situation and try to keep people from getting depressed, and that's just, I feel that Ibuki. I love Ibuki. Her songs, probably wouldn't listen to them, but I'd support her all the way. Why can't I remember? Little witch girl. I know your name. I know it starts with H-I. There's too many characters. I almost just went, oh, I got it, Hyoko. Whatever. I'm going to talk about her, and then I'll remember her name halfway through the list, and we'll get through it. She kind of sucks. She's not terrible, but she's definitely not as good as the rest of these characters that are in, like, A tier. She does have a personality, but it's not really, like, cemented in my mind. And I don't know exactly why that is, because her personality is basically, I'm too lazy to care about anything, but in reality, I'm too depressed about being bullied to try at anything anymore. Which could be really neat if it came off something more like Mikon, honestly, where she's sort of self-defeating, because she really does feel like she doesn't care, you know, instead of like, oh, well, there's no point, I'll just fail anyway. Which is what it more seems like it was trying to be. Plus, she makes it to the end, which, like, that's all right. But only 3 characters made it to the end, and 2 of them were plot relevant. So what's your excuse? I was about to say Hyoko again. God damn it. Fine, I'll look it up. You know what? Himiko Yumeno. It was the first result. Himiko. Right, I knew that. Okay, Himiko, you're just okay. Junko, I still think she's a bad villain, but after, like, playing V3, she's not as bad, so I'll put her low C tier. She's very memorable, I'll give her that. Her plan in the original actually makes perfect sense. The way that she destroyed the world, maybe not, but the plan just, like, concerning the game itself is pretty great. It kind of helps that the ending was ambiguous, so if you kind of take Danganronpa 1 in like a vacuum from the other games, Junko could have been lying the entire time. And honestly, I think that's what they should have gone with, despite the fact that they have to have a second game, so it kind of has to be real. But it doesn't have to be. They were in the simulator. Still, it is, because Ultra Despair Girls. But Junko, she's all right. I just wish she explained more about herself, because we only get to see her in the last trial, right? And she really is just explaining the plot. That's it. And we don't really hate her. We just want to, like, get out, right? That's our main motivation at that point. We don't really hate Junko at all. She's pretty mean to, like, the people there, but that's to be expected. She did organize the whole thing. It would have made, like, more sense, I think, to have Monokuma, her to act more like Monokuma, you know what I mean? So we'd, like, relate them more, because she doesn't really act like Monokuma at all. It's like, they explain it as, like, she gets bored of her personality, so she puts on personas. Why doesn't she do that as Monokuma? Occasionally, there'll be, like, slight bits where, like, he'll do puns for a while and then stop. That kind of does it, but the voice and, like, overall character of Monokuma never changes, so, you know, it's just weird. Next is Kaede. Kaede is all right. I think I like her more than Himiko, but I know she's moved down since my first list. She's boring. That's the problem. The more I've thought about it, the circumstances surrounding her are interesting, but she is not interesting herself. And that's because she went out in Case 1. All the Case 1 people are chumps, aside from Rantaro. But we'll get to that. Kaede is just... she's like Makoto. She's just an empty shell, and then she dies. And, yeah. I would have liked to see how she would have progressed if she were the main character for all of V3. But she doesn't get to, so, you know. It would have been nice to see, like, an opposite, right? Because there's a lot of, like, opposites in V3 of things you expect from the other games. But Kaede having, like, being super hopeful in the beginning and losing that over the game to the point where at the end, she doesn't fight for hope. Because she's done with it. She just fights to end the game. That would have been a more satisfying character arc, I think, than Shuichi just repeating Hajime's again, but with Kaito. Kaito's fine, but he's like the only interesting part of Shuichi's arc. Man, I'm dropping a lot of hot takes right now. Next is Kaito, so it works out. Kaito, I don't remember where I put him last time, but I'm going to put him in A tier. That feels right. Kaito is the kind of guy I absolutely hate in real life, but in Danganronpa, he's kind of necessary. He really does help Shuichi and Maki. He really does, which is nice, because a lot of times this sort of character type, or just in real life, is a lot of empty words for nothing in the end. So it's nice that Kaito actually works as a character. And also, I find his personality pretty endearing. The fact that he's scared of ghosts and stuff, despite the fact that he's like, you know, this big bravado guy. It's decent. He doesn't really like bite into his talent very much as like the ultimate astronaut. Like, he should be super smart, which he doesn't come off as super smart, but oh well. Unless he cheated on the tests, because he did cheat to get into the test, so who knows. Next is Kazuichi, a personal favorite of mine for no reason whatsoever. He's not even that good. Because he's one of those no character arc characters. He starts the game, he says, I like Sonya. He ends the game, I like Sonya. That's it. He learns nothing. He grows not at all from the fact that he went through this harrowing experience. The only reason I like him so much is because I did his free time events, and he's like, I was a nerd, but then I decided I wanted to be cool, and now look at me, I kind of hate myself and this look, you know, it's not me. I just want to build bicycles. And that's pretty neat. I won't put him in A or S though, because, you know, he still is Kazuichi. He's still a bit meh. He's definitely low B tier. Anyway, next is Kibo. Remember empty shell syndrome? Yeah, Kibo is empty shell syndrome. He's at least a little bit interesting in the beginning of the game, but then the more I think about it, the more he kind of like fades in interestingness until like he becomes a super fighting robot. I don't know where to put him. You know what? I'll put him under Kazuichi. Because he's not bad. He's just not interesting or cool. You know? Next is Kuru Me. I really liked Kuru Me the first time I played. And if you watch my videos, you'll see that. Like, there's the Brian David Gilbert out of context one, where I put Kuru Me in, like, the yes category, like the good characters. Kuru Me also is kind of boring and empty. Her motivations for killing are kind of lame as far as killing goes. Like, you don't learn anything about her, really. But she's not bad, so I'll put her above Kibo. Also, I thought her and Shuichi had a lot of chemistry in, like, the first times they were talking, and then it goes nowhere and she dies. So she's kind of got, like, Mahiru syndrome, actually. Except Mahiru actually has an impact for the rest of the game, where she is instantly forgotten. Rest in peace. Next is Taka. I like Taka. Taka's alright. Yeah, we'll put him beside Gonta. That works for me. Taka is big nerd, man. That is what his personality is. Wow, you actually can't see him. Wait, what? Why can you see differently than what's on my screen? Hold on. Okay, no, you can't. It's just the preview was weird. This is annoying. My setup is weird, but it's because I didn't want to try to, like, figure out how to add side things. Anyway, Taka, he's just a big nerd. He's trying to live up to, like, his father's wishes. He's definitely not a bad character. I enjoy him quite a bit, but he's not super interesting either. And his character arc gets cut short. So, you know, he could have been... Whose character arc am I thinking of? He could have been... It's Akane's character arc. That's a problem. They cut Akane's character arc as well. And Hiroko. All the characters who have this character arc of their friend dying and then them moving past it. That's who it is. It's Himiko. He could have been Himiko, but good. Because Himiko, like, doesn't show her changes very much. She's still very much Himiko, just with less forced yeah all the time. Taka could have, like, become a leader, you know? That would have been cool. He was already a bit of a leader, but he was like a non-functional leader where nobody wanted his advice. He could have become like a real leader. That would have been interesting, but of course not. This is Danganronpa. We don't get to have fun. Next is Kokichi. I hate Kokichi. I just hate him. I hate him so much. He's the best of D tier because, you know, Byakuya is bad, and he's also annoying and boring. At least Kokichi's funny. I think this actually is moved down from the last time I talked about Kokichi and how much I hate him. Kokichi just makes no sense to me. Like Nagito, there's obviously something wrong with Nagito, right? Like, the way he acts isn't normal. Nagito has issues. And Kokichi seems fine. Like, he's, you know... You know? He doesn't act irrationally, but he makes irrational decisions. I have to give you examples for you to believe me. So the one that I like the best, and the one that I used last time, I know I did, because somebody just commented this, and I had to, like, explain it, is the case of Gonta. A lot of people say that Kokichi's actually kind of a good dude, because, you know, he liked Gonta, and he wanted to save everyone from being, you know, fried on the surface of the earth and feeling that despair. That's already a bit heavy, you know? Like, yeah, I'm gonna kill all my friends so that they don't have to live with this tragedy without asking them. It's already a bit rough. But he also just doesn't. It's the same thing as, like, Gundam, except Gundam's moral code makes it sort of make sense. You know what I mean? Like, we talked about that, like, 10 minutes ago, maybe. Kokichi has no moral code. He just wants to win the game. And that's why I don't buy people who say, like, oh, well, he liked Gonta. Well, then why didn't he just kill himself in that case? He didn't have to kill Miu. He killed Miu out of spite, as far as I can tell, because Miu was going to kill him. if he really wanted to, like, save everyone, he could have done a lot of things. He could have had Gonta kill him and be in on the plan. He could have killed Gonta and tricked everyone, because he very much could have done that. Kokichi, if we ever went against Kokichi, like, the only reason we were able to figure out his plot in the final case is because Kaito was the pawn he used, and Kaito wants to help us. If Gonta didn't want to help us, and they left no traces, and all that was left was the evidence that Mew was about to commit a murder, would have been done. And then Gonta wouldn't be carrying the blame, or maybe he would if Gonta killed Kokichi. Kokichi would be carrying the blame, and he'd have to live his life alone on the spaceship. And that would be, that'd be his plan fulfilled. But no, instead he uses Gonta, gets Gonta to kill Mew, which is another step, weirdly, like, outside of his circle. He's basically, his plan is like Celeste's, but worse, because he doesn't take out all the loose ends. And then Gonta ends up revealing the truth. So he must have wanted that to happen, because Kokichi knows everything. He's one of those villains, and I hate those villains, so I hate Kokichi. Story over. That was a long one, because people love Kokichi, and they're constantly like, Kokichi's the best, and I hate him. Goodbye, gremlin child. Next is Korekio. Korekio's just evil. He's just, like, super villain evil, which isn't bad. Like, it's definitely something new for Danganronpa. Like, almost every killer has some sort of motive. Korekio's motive is just, I like killing people because I'm crazy. Lol, XD. But, Korekio's plan doesn't make sense, but it makes sense it doesn't make sense because he doesn't make sense. But yeah, I'll never put him higher than the lowest point, other than one more character that I think is coming. Because Korekio, he's just bad. I can't put a serial killer anywhere but the lowest point. Junko may have incited, like, a genocide and killed her sister, but that doesn't make any sense. Korekio kills 100 people. People have done that. Not that much, probably, but they've killed a bunch of people in a row. He's like Jack the Ripper. It's too real. Kyoko. Kyoko's okay, but she's also an empty shell. Her dad dies and she's torn up about it for about 10 minutes. So, I like her. I think she's pretty cool. But she's not like a good character for me. She's a very helpful plot device and a good person, as all things go. But she's not really much of a good character. Next is Leon. And this is another one I'll have to justify somewhat, because I'm going to put Leon above Kyoko. Actually, I'm going to put Leon above Coyote. Leon is great for a few reasons. He's kind of an asshole, but hear me out. Leon is a lot like me. Whoa, that's weird. You've killed somebody before? No. Leon has this, like, path in life. He's been sent down for his entire life, and he's super good at it, but he doesn't like it. And so he's getting worse at it. He never goes to practices. He just wants to be a musician. He just wants to do what he loves. And everybody's telling him he can't do that. And then the first thing that happens in this game, the musician hits him up and says, hey, we should meet up. And he's like, finally, my big break. And then she tries to murder him. So yeah, I think people don't give Leon enough credit as being just kind of a dude in the wrong place at the wrong time. Like, obviously he pursues her and tries to kill her, but there's two things that explains that. One, high stress situation. Like, if we're going to not judge, like, Celeste and everyone else who kills in this game because it's, a very difficult situation to be in, then we can't really judge Leon for that, just because he was the first dead. And Sayaka is also not good. She's arguably worse than Leon because she tries to manipulate everyone to get herself free. Leon really just had a moment of... He had like a Mondo moment. And Mondo moment is, oh shit, I'm going to be a murderer. I might as well try my best to get away with it, or because I'm going to die anyway. And that's the Mondo moment. And I think a lot of people give Mondo slack for being a decent dude, because he is a decent dude. And don't give Leon slack for no reason. I like Leon, all right? The end. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Whoops, that's how you hear. I actually made a whoops after saying whoops all those times. Mahiru is my favorite character. For those of you who don't know why, or haven't watched the other video, I'm going to briefly explain it. Think about Danganronpa 2's cast. Everyone in Danganronpa 2's cast is crazy. Except for Hajime and Mahiru. So that's why I like them so much. They're actually trying to escape and, like, you know, help each other and get out. Speaking of help each other, Mahiru is caring and very helpful. I already talked about how she cared about Yoko, but she even tries to, like, feed Nagito so he doesn't starve to death. Like, nobody else would have done that. We do it begrudgingly because Nagito keeps, like, making weird... I don't remember exactly what it is, but he's threatening her in some way. I can't remember what it is exactly. But he's, like, talking weird stuff, and she's like, I can't deal with this anymore. You and him have some sort of weird bond. Please help me. A lot of people hate her because of her character trait. You know how every Danganronpa character has, like, one character trait? Like, we were talking about Himiko is lazy. Gonta is stupid. Chihiro is, like, shy. Kaito is boisterous. Fuyuhiko he's foul-mouthed. Aoi is... I can't think of the word right now, but she doesn't think about things from other people's perspectives. She's a bit... I don't remember it. Taka is completely focused forward. He's got no, like, sense of other people. Mahiru's character trait is, I don't like men. Which isn't even really true. Because Tenko's character trait is actually, I don't like men. Mahiru's character trait is, men take advantage of people and I don't like it. Because her dad is sort of taking advantage of her family by doing nothing, and she has to do everything while her mother is out. And yeah, she kind of, like, loses that character trait after, like, trial 1. The problem is she only lives till trial 2. I just think her goods outweigh her bads by quite a lot, and I like her story. Her story is very interesting. The reason she takes pictures and the fact that she only takes portraits because she likes people smiling, that's, ugh. It's heart-wrenching, dude. She's dead. But she's alive. That is the one good thing I can say about the anime. She's alive now because of the anime. I would have believed that she would have come back anyway, but at least she's also one of those people who didn't, like, cut off their arm or whatever. Next is Maki. Maki. I think I put Maki really high in my last list, and she's going to fall a bit here. Maki is, again, she's just okay. I like her talent, and I like the way it interacts with her personality, because she's been killing people since she was like 10 years old. She has no real remorse for dead people. And over the story, she learns to care about someone deeply, and it sort of challenges her worldview of people being a means to an end after her one good friend gets murdered. Which also, I don't know if I like that. That feels a little bit forced for her character arc. I feel like she could have just been an assassin from day one, and it would have been more fulfilling than having it be like, oh, my best friend died because I was an assassin, and I became an assassin because of her, but now she's dead. Oh no. Because Kaito is her new, like, assistant character arc. Anyway, Maki's alright. She makes irrational decisions, but they make sense because, you know, she's irrationally in love with Kaito. And she's never been in love before. And you all know how that's been, except maybe some of you don't, but you'll be there, trust me. Next is Makoto. Ooh, I think I put Makoto in A tier last time. Whoops, he's not in A tier anymore. Again, Makoto's an empty shell. I don't know how to rate him. He's a good dude. He's somehow like the figurehead for the Future Foundation, which I don't really get because Makoto never really like takes action. Even in the ending where he's like, yeah, I'm the best. wait, that's not what I'm trying to say. But he's like, you guys, we're okay. We can make it out of here alive. Just work with me. That's like his shining moment. And it's still pretty, like, generic. Like, the difference between A tier and B tier, think of it like the difference between Gonta and Makoto. Gonta has a struggle, and he has to overcome it. Makoto's struggle is the plot of the game. So you know you're going to overcome it. There's no, like, stakes to his struggle, because you know he's going to overcome it by the end of the game. Or at least, you know, he does. So, a better comparison would probably be Makoto and, like, Fuyuhiko. Where Fuyuhiko is interesting because he has a personality that is also somewhat in contention with the way he acts sometimes. Whereas Makoto's personality is, I am boy, I am here, I am luck, I am help. And he never learns or grows, really. I guess he learns to like himself a bit more, maybe. That's a bit of a stretch, though. You don't really, like, focus on that at all. So, anyway, he's not a bad character. He's just not a character. Mikon. You know what? I think I rated Mikon pretty low in my last one. Mikon's grown on me a little bit. I think she's probably... I'm going to put her above Robot Core here. I just realized you can't see my mouse. I was talking about Makoto to Kyoko, the Robot Core, not to the actual robot. Mikon's all right. I find her to be annoying. That was my main reason for putting her so low last time. And I find her trial to be especially frustrating. But I can't really blame that on her as a character, because that's her as a plot device. She goes evil just so that the plot makes more sense in the end. And really, I would buy Mikon as a killer. I really could. I could really buy Mikon snapping and murdering Hiroko at one point. But that's not what happens. And that's why I was frustrated with her. But over time I've realized I'm not frustrated with her. I'm frustrated with the stupid case. Mikon is fine. Whoops. Oh dear. She's nice, and she's a bit masochistic, but oh well. She's just kind of there. But in a good way, you know? In the same way as, like, you know, Makoto. He's there. He's just kind of there, but in a good way, and he helps people. So, Mew. Did you know that the Danganronpa creators specifically created Mew to be the least likable Danganronpa character ever, and in the end, they failed? How did they try to make Mew more unlikable than Hifumi? That's impossible. Mew is not good, I'll put it that way, but she's interesting, and that's all that matters. Because Mew is like she's like Fuyuhiko on crack, right? In the way that she's rude to you and everybody else. She's constantly berating everyone. But you get like the inkling pretty early on in case 1 that it's really all a front because she's self-conscious. Like, as soon as she cracks the first time you strike back at her, you're like, oh, I see. She doesn't really mean it. Maybe she does in her own head, but she doesn't really mean it. She's just saying these things because she's not confident in herself. That's my read on it. I never did her free time events or anything, but she just seems like a troubled individual to me, which is why she's in the troubled individual tier, and not in the bad person tier. Okay. Mondo Owada. I'm going to put him under Leon. Mondo I like. Mondo and Leon are very similar, actually. The more I think about it, the more it, like, solidifies in my mind how similar these two are. Which is probably why Leon had to die first, despite the fact that he had, like, the reference character model, and that's why they apparently killed them both off, which is a stupid reason to kill people off. I'm just saying. I would have been interested to see how Leon changed as time went on, but oh well, it won't happen. Out of all the Danganronpa 1 cast, though, I think Leon, I'm okay with him being out first. He already had pretty much a complete character arc. Mondo. Back to Mondo. Mondo is what we're talking about. I could talk about Leon for a long time, but we're talking about Mondo. Mondo, for a biker gang leader, is a pretty good guy. And we saw that with Fuyuhiko as well. They're like not bad people, really. They're just, in less savory walks of life. He feels real bad for killing his brother. And you know what? That's good. That right there raises you above someone like Celeste, who probably wouldn't care if they got what they wanted. He's the leader of this biker organization, which he never wanted to be. He just wanted to prove to the biker organization that he could be a cool dude. And he even he has this honor code, which is something I'll always give bad people credit for. If you're a bad person but you have an honor code, it's better than just being a bad person. All right. Also, he's not really even a bad person. So, Mukuro. Okay. Mukuro, this one is tough because I love Mukuro, and I have to explain to you why I love Mukuro now. Okay. That works for me. I think she went up since the last time. Jesus. I love Mukuro for a couple reasons. A, the fact that she's been basically brainwashed by Junko. And I say basically because I don't buy the fact that Junko would actually be able to brainwash people. That is another thing I hate the anime for. Everybody in SDR2 has a good reason for falling to despair, whether their friends have died, or they hate themselves, or they're constantly bullied, or they have a terrible home life. Except for Nekomaru, weirdly enough. I'm sure he has some sort of reason in his free time events. But I just don't buy the fact that Junko has hypnotized people, and that makes Mukuro's story all the more tragic. Because she's basically been bullied by her twin sister, her entire life, into the point of being her servant, essentially. And then she gets instantly killed the moment she's going to be somewhat of an equal. The moment she's Junko's eyes on the ground, instantly murdered. And part of this comes from Danganronpa 0. I think that's what it's called, right? That's the manga where she's the hero. Which I didn't actually read the whole thing of. I just know what happens. And the fact that Mukuro is actually a good person under the layers of Junko manipulation, it just makes me sad for her. Because she's so good at what she does. The fact that she'd be distancing herself from relationships makes sense. The same way that it makes sense for Maki, except they go too far with Maki. And she's actually a good person. It just makes me sad. Maybe I have too much compassion for these first case trigger happy havoc people, but I don't know. I just like Mukuro. I just do. Plus she's badass, dude. Have you seen that one anime fight scene, dude? Where she fights Peko? It's badass, dude. Anyway, next is Nagito. Nagito has also grown on me somewhat. And maybe it's the fact that I've finally finished Ultra Despair Girls, so I've seen the way he acts as a despair. Because one of my big problems with him before was the fact that he didn't make any sense. The fact that he was oh, I stand for hope, but I fell to despair. But I hate despair still. Just saying. It kind of makes sense because it's a self-deprecating thing. Where he's I'm despair, but I'm only despair so that people can rise past me to create the ultimate of hope. And that just makes perfect sense. It clicked. I was oh, okay, that makes sense. It's the kind of thing I'm waiting for with Kokichi, but it hasn't happened yet. Plus, I always love troubled characters. I'm the bad boy, you can change. But I think Nagito is out of all the troubled tier here, he's the most likely to be a good person at the end of it. I don't know. I feel like Nagito does bad things for good reasons, and other times he just does good things. He's still not a good person, though. Let's just put it out there. He's definitely not a good person. But with some serious help, I think he might actually be okay. I don't know. That's it. That's my Nagito speech. Next is Nekomaru. Nekomaru He's nothing to me. He's like Kibo. He's not bad. He's definitely not a bad person. And, you know, if Akane's character arc went somewhere, maybe he would actually mean something to me. But right now, he's just like stoic, good dude. That's pretty much it. He talks about shit a lot. And he does do that. Peko. I wish so hard for an alternate version of SDR2 where Peko lives and Fuyuhiko dies. Because Peko is so much more interesting in that scenario. Fuyuhiko dying, his character arc, or his character is cemented at that moment. When he says, I'm trying to save you, Peko. You deserve it more than me. Peko, you are my equal, and I care about you, and I don't want to kill people. But I killed someone this time, and I have to pay for that. That would be so cool. Okay? And then Peko would have to discover who she is without Fuyuhiko. But no, instead she just dies. With no character growth or development. Or even really any character at all. Other than being, again, stoic, badass. Sayonara, Peko. You were treated poorly by the game. Rantaro. Rantaro is basically the same. I'm going to put him above Leon. I think I had Rantaro, maybe, I can't remember where he was. I really like Rantaro. So, you know, that's why he's top of B tier. These are characters I like that aren't technically really good characters. And these are characters that are decent characters and then the best in S tier. Rantaro, I like for his backstory because we don't really get anything from him in the main game. But the fact that, you know, he's been searching the entire world for his sister, and that has made him the ultimate adventurer, I think it's something like that, is pretty neat. And then the fact that he's the ultimate survivor, and he sacrificed himself for his friends, I really want to see that reality, you know? Like, why can't we have a manga about Rantaro? That'd be cool. Maybe there is one, and I don't know about it, because I don't really read them. But I don't know. I just think Rantaro's a good person, and I wish that he didn't die instantly. It would have been interesting. But of course, they had to subvert our expectations, because that's what matters in this day and age, not plot. Ryoma Hoshi. This is the big bad one. Do 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 do. I don't like him as much as I like Gundam. Okay. People have fought me on this one before, too. So this is where I have to make my opinions absolutely clear. I don't think Ryoma's bad. But he's incredibly boring. So at this point, you're like, okay, so he should go in the stoic badass tier. The boring but good people tier. He frustrates me so much. Okay. So one of the reasons people like him, one, memes. I know it. The "you've got a ways to go." People think that's amazing. It's only amazing because that one YouTuber said it. Two, his backstory. People are constantly saying his backstory is good. As far as I can tell from what people have told me, because I've never actually read it, I'll be clear on that. I haven't actually read it, so maybe things would change. His entire family died, and everybody he loved. That's why there's nobody who's, like, in his motive video. I feel that. That's why he's not in D tier. But look at all these backstories of all these characters, and tell me who hasn't lost a family member in some tragic way. Every Danganronpa character story is tragic. Why does he get a pass for having no character? I think it would have been interesting if Kuru Me's case was better. Because Kuru Me's case is very good, but it's not good for him. It doesn't really give us anything on him. Plus, he's a blackmailer. Which is why he's in the troubled tier, because I have troubled feelings about him. He was blackmailing Maki in order to get his motive video. And I mean, like, it's sort of understandable, because, like, you know, he needs to see if there's somebody out there who cares about him to know if he wants to carry on or not. But he still blackmailed Maki to tell everyone she was an assassin. That was his first thought. Not like, you know, hey Maki, I need this seriously so that I can know if I'm a good person or if there are anybody out there who loves me. No, the first thing he did was blackmail. So, you know, and maybe that comes from being a criminal, but Yeah, not a fan. Not a fan. There's no redeeming quality to... He's like completely neutral, and then he does a couple bad things. But he does no good things. So that's why he's below average. We'll say B is average tier. Next is Sakura. I have to put Sakura above average tier. Sakura's great. I really like the fact that Sakura goes down by her own accord. Because to me, I would not buy anybody being able to beat Sakura in a fight. Even if it was like sneaky poison. I feel like Sakura is so disciplined that she would notice something like that going down. Especially given the way her case plays out and the fact that she gets hit on the head twice with these glass bottles and doesn't die. And then, you know, has to do it herself. Also, anybody who sacrifices himself to save the others, they win a place in my heart for being, you know, selfless and a good person. She didn't really have to do it, though. Like, that's why she's not an S tier. She didn't really have to do that. Like, she survived... I almost said Hifumi. She survived Hiro and Toko's attacks. She was fine. She just lost her faith in them. But, like, they're idiots. Everybody knows they're the idiots. Just write them off. They're stupid. Yeah, the rest of us, we're fine with you, Sakura. Maybe not Byakuya, okay? But Byakuya, he doesn't matter either. Just think about me and Aoi. We still care about you. But yeah, I get the reasons why she would do it. But that's why she's not an S tier, basically. She's really good, but not S tier, you know? S tier is for the best of the best. Sayaka. Sayaka is in the troubled tier, certainly. I'm going to put her above Gundam. Because I feel a little bit better about her than Gundam. I understand her plight. I know I made a bit fun of it with Leon, and I have Leon above her. I understand her plight. I understand the fact that she worked her ass off for her entire life to get to where she was, and now Monokuma is threatening to take it away from her. And even just the fact that she's stuck in this place and not being able to sing is slowly draining her popularity away, so she won't have a life to go back to after this. I get her frustration with the whole thing. But she's not a good person. Like, the manipulating part, that's one thing. But she also shows, like, no real care for the people she's singing with. She doesn't want to get out to make sure they're okay. She wants to get out to make sure she's okay. And I think that comes with being in showbiz, you know? You know, you gotta be in for yourself in showbiz or else you'll get duped. But yeah, she also was going to frame Makoto, like the most innocent person in the entire place, for murder so that she could escape. Which is pretty rude. That's all I have to say. Shuichi! I don't know where to put this man's. Where do I put this man's? I guess I can put him in the stoic badass tier. He's better than Kazuichi. He's better than Himiko. I don't think he's better than Kyoko, though. Which is definitely a change from my last list. Shuichi is okay. That's pretty much all I have to say. I don't really buy it. You know? I feel like his turnaround is too quick. Because I buy the fact that Kaede's death would propel him to go forward. It's a bit of an overused trope, I'm going to be honest. And again, I would have much preferred to see Kaede. Shuichi, he's just kind of a chill dude who's sad about the way his life has turned out. It's a bit too real. But the real problem I have is the fact that, and I think it's just a disconnect because of the gameplay. I think that's the real reason it gets me, because we don't really see Shuichi's aftermath. It's basically just a black screen with text on it, right? When Kaede dies, all we see is like a black screen saying, I can't get up, I have to go back to bed. And then Kaito says, you know, just do it. And then he does. And like, he obviously has conflicting feelings about what he's doing, but at the same time, he keeps doing it. Keeps doing it. And those conflicting feelings that actually made him interesting kind of go away pretty quick, because you have to kill people in this game. You have to vote them guilty, or else the game can't continue. So the sort of like doubtfulness Shuichi has through all of this, it kind of goes away as soon as you're in control, because you don't doubt, you know what's going on. And I think that's the problem. Shuichi is the middle ground between Makoto and Hajime. And that's not a good thing. Because Makoto is so empty, you just project yourself onto him. And Makoto is basically you. A little bit more self-deprecating than usual, probably, hopefully. But he's mostly you. Hajime feels like someone else, but you're on his side. Shuichi feels like someone else, but he's also like feels like you know? Because his personality doesn't really fit with the way you're feeling. Hajime has doubts about himself, but his doubts show in times when you have doubts about what you're doing. And I think that's the big difference. I think that's a better explanation than the last time I did this video, because last time I was like, everybody kind of worships him, and it feels like he doesn't really like deserve it because he doesn't feel that way about himself. But yeah, that's why. It's because you are doing really good when you really think about it. Like, you're solving the mysteries, snap to it. You got everything figured out. But it doesn't feel right because Shuichi doesn't feel like he would take that and be like, oh, good. I'm so good. I did it. I am good. It feels like he should be more doubtful of himself, but it doesn't really show in trials. Anyway, that's my Shuichi rant. Time for Sonia. Sonia is like Ibuki to me. She's like Ibuki to me. But a little bit less, maybe. You know, she and Kaito are actually surprisingly similar when I think about their, like, character traits. They both just want to, like, help people. They're both a little bit weird and concerning at some points, but they're good people in the end, and they just good people. And that's why I like Sonia. She's good people. And she is interesting, right? Like, if I was to look at the robot core and then look at Sonia, maybe I should just name this the robot core. Nah, I'm not going to do it. Because some of them aren't. Sonia, she's weird. But you can't say she's bad. Like, she's not Angie weird, where she's actively harmful to everyone around her. She's just weird to the point where sometimes you'll suspect her for having done something bad, and then you're like, no, Sonia didn't do it. Sonia's a good person. And that's perfect for this kind of a game, right? Also, her and Gundam. I really like that. I like that a lot, because Gundam, her personality type is like the only kind of person I could ever see getting with Gundam. Because Gundam is so weird, but he's into the same weird, like, satanic stuff that she's just like, wow, that's so cool. Because it's new to her and she likes new things. She doesn't have any prejudgments about satanic rituals and dark devas of destruction. She just thinks the hamsters are cute and she likes his little hair swoosh and she likes learning new things. And I like that. It's nice. That's one of the, like, few, like, ships that I'm totally on board with. The other one is, it's Toko and Komaru, but don't tell this one commenter I said that. I'll go over that when I get there. Tanko I also really liked originally. Now I think she's just okay. I think she's better than Kuru Me, but not as good as Kazuichi. She's basically Kazuichi's character type of being obsessed with his one thing the entire game, which is her hatred of men. Which I can forgive her for in some capacity, because, you know, you have one bad experience, things can go downhill pretty quick. Like, she's basically like the incel of of Tumblr. Okay, that was a weird way of saying it, but you know what I mean? She's like the opposite of an incel. An incel hates women because women won't do what they want. Tanko hates men because she thinks they're doing what she is thinking they're doing, when obviously they don't all do that. You know? You get it? She's the opposite. She's an opposite incel. And that's obviously not something you can't overcome. She doesn't really, though, is one problem. And not in the same way Mahiru does, where she focuses on more important things. Like, she's not constantly, even when their lives are on the risk, talking about how much she hates men. That would be nice, but she still does. Also, her thing with Himiko, it's a little bit weird. Also, kind of contradictory to her reasoning for hating men. She's trying to manipulate Himiko into being her friend. Quote unquote. You know what I mean? Her lover. despite the fact that she obviously doesn't want to. And I wonder if that was intentional. Because if it's not, that's really unfortunate. I buy her rivalry with Angie. I like that part, because Angie is actively evil, but Himiko can't see it because she doesn't care enough. And, yeah. Tenko, like, Trial 3 Tenko is the Tenko I wish we got. A Tenko who is prejudiced against men, but does good things and cares about the people she cares about. And is even willing to work with someone like Shuichi because she realizes that, you know, people like Shuichi can do good things too. You know? But be somewhat suspicious of Kaito, because why wouldn't you be? Okay, next is Teru. Yeah, Teru's in the troubled category. There you go, I put him under Ryoma. You guys are alright now, alright? Teru, he just loves his mama. And other than that, he's kind of a sexual predator. So, yeah. He's not frustrating as a character. His character makes sense. But he's not good. And I'm glad he died in Trial 1, because I don't know if I could have handled any more of Teru. Next is Toko. And this is just Toko, which is weird, because Genocider is over here. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to count Toko and Genocider as one person, because they are one person, and I want the whole package. Ultra Despair Girls does a lot to make her likable. So she's going to lead the weird, like the problematic but good person tier. Her obsession with Byakuya crosses the line all the time. In the same way Teru's obsession with women crosses the line constantly. Her obsession with murder, it's not great. But we see that she's actively growing and overcoming that in Ultra Despair Girls. And that's what's good. The fact that she calls Komaru, like, you're my first real friend. That's a lot of growth, you know? Because the Toko from Trigger Happy Havoc would have thought Komaru was manipulating her the whole time, or something like that. So yeah, I like Toko a lot more than I used to. Even with Genocide Jill attached. If Genocide Jill wasn't attached, she'd probably be beside Mikon, because they're very similar to me in concept. But, you know, I have to acknowledge that you murdered a lot of people, probably. Tsumugi. I hate Tsumugi. Tsumugi sucks. If Tsumugi wasn't evil, she'd be in the bland tier. She's not a bad person, but she doesn't have very much character. But she is evil. And her evil plan ruins everything. I actually really like the concept of Danganronpa, but it's fake. We made it all up. You're just regular people. We implanted you with memories. You know what would have made it really good? If even the mastermind wasn't real. If in the end, the only way you could defeat the mastermind was to convince them they're just a regular person, like the rest of us. You've been put in this game. They're going to get rid of you after. Like, they're just going to toss you on the street without your old personality. So you're just going to be Tsumugi Shirogane. Then what? Because none of it is real. And convince Tsumugi to make the show unwatchable so that they get canceled and you all get kicked out together, but you never have to worry about it ever happening again. That would have been great. To have the mastermind survive the final trial and be, like, redeemed. Oh, that would have made her... That would have been an amazing ending. It wouldn't have made, like... They wouldn't have fixed the problem of decanonizing every other Danganronpa game as being fictional. Because that bites. I would have liked it a lot more as if the TV show was like an ill-advised reality show based on the actual tragedy, and that we were like a number of years into the future, like the game suggests, where there's like, you know, advanced technology to recreate something like this. And even the fact that like people are dying, people don't care because society's changed after the tragedy. Whew. Easy fix. Easy solve. But no. So Tsumugi sucks for that reason. She is such waste. She's a waste of space. And she's worse than Junko, which I didn't think was possible, because Junko as a villain is just a lore dump every time. A lore dump with funny voices. But Tsumugi is not even funny. She's just a lore dump. And she actively makes you feel bad about playing Danganronpa. I don't understand it. I really just don't understand. I didn't even like Tsumugi before she was evil. She's just bland. And that's her character, is that she's bland? Why would you do that? Okay, enough. She's the worst. Undoubtedly. Ultimate Imposter. He exists, I guess. I'll put him in the bland but okay tier. At the very bottom. Because we only get him for one trial. He seems alright. I don't have anything bad to say about him. I'm glad that he's, like, positive about his body. That's very neat. That's a nice thing to have in the game. Still, not something I really promote. You got some health detriments there, buddy. You know? But I do like that fact. Also, I shouldn't even be calling them he, because we don't officially know that it's a man. But they're probably a dude. Just, you know, physique-wise. But I guess that's why the body fat thing is such a thing, because then you can hide it and you can play as whichever person you need to be no matter what. That's kind of neat. That's kind of interesting. That's kind of like thought-provoking. Like, huh, I guess that makes sense. So yeah. As a character, but as like a plot device, pretty decent. Hero. God, I hate Hero. He's not worse than Fumi, though. What makes it worse is that I know Hero does good things. In, like, the anime and, like, mangas. He actually comes off as sort of competent and good. But in the game, he's so bad. So bad! He does nothing good. He's stupid. He actively gets Sakura killed, almost. For being, like, paranoid. Which I guess, you know what? That's okay. He can be paranoid that Sakura's gonna kill him. After all, she's been revealed to be evil, technically. So I get that. But then he tries to cover it up and blame Toko. That's like a Leon thing. So, okay. I guess you could say he's in Leon tier. So what knocks him down to C tier? I don't know. The weird way he talks to everybody and doesn't help during the trials at all. So that puts him on, like, Toko level. What makes him worse than that? He wastes so much goddamn time, okay? This man, he brings up the most useless things in cases. At least when Toko talks, you get some sort of lead out of it. But whenever Hero's talking, it's nothing. And you know it's nothing. From the instant you see it, you know it's nothing. I think it would have been really funny to have Case 4 just be Hero admitting that he killed Sakura because he covered it up so poorly, and have that be it. That would have been so funny. And then have Case 5 happen on top of Case 4. Can you imagine? That'd be crazy. That'd be wild. But no, Hero lives for some reason. Just to be annoying. Izuru, now, is difficult, because I'm trying not to take the anime into consideration for many of these. Which means even though I have characters like Natsume, right? I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's Natsume. Here, I'm not going to be taking her anime personality, just what we know about her, which is very little from the games. And the same is true of Izuru. We don't really know much about him, other than he's cold, emotionless, and a big asshole who caused, you know. So I'll put him above Junko. It says a lot that Izuru is more interesting as a character than Junko, despite the fact we get him for a total of, like, maybe a minute of screen time. But the reason for that is he's not a lore dump. He's creepy. And a lot of it's actually to do with his relationship with Nagito. Because Nagito is the biggest threat we've had all game, other than Monokuma. But even then, Monokuma doesn't feel as threatening as Nagito in a lot of cases, which is really funny. And Izuru is so in control of Nagito and the conversation with him. He makes Nagito look like a chump. And I think that cements him as a threat very early on. I wish that in some capacity Izuru could have been the final challenge to Danganronpa 2, but I understand how that doesn't make any goddamn sense. The ending is as confusing as it is already. Just don't have to try to shoehorn Izuru in there, but I like Izuru as a villain. He's the best Danganronpa villain we've had. So I gotta give him a little bit of credit. I don't remember your name either. Your hero's mom. That's how I remember you. Hiroko. Wow. I can recall Hiroko, but I can't recall freaking Himiko. I don't have any particular feelings about Hiroko. She's decent, I guess. I like her more than Hiro. I'll give you that. So I'll put her there. Don't really have anything to say. I think she's neat. That's about it. This asshole. I don't remember his name either. I know he's Toa. I shouldn't be doing this so late at night. I'm forgetting all the names. Whatever. Mr. Toa. You bring pedophilia into my house, you go in the D tier. Alright? You're not as bad as serial murder, but you're pretty close. Alright? Jotaro. Oh god, I don't want to do the Despair Children. I don't really like any of them, but Jotaro's here. He's here. He's alright. Feel bad for him. Jin Kirigiri. Now I know we don't really see Jin at all in the games, and I said I wasn't concerning the anime at all, like considering it at all. And I actually haven't watched any scenes with Jin in them anyway. So I'm just going to go off what we know of Jin in the games, which is basically what Kyoko tells us and what we learn about in flashbacks. Flawed individual, not terrible. I'm going to put him under Izuru. He's not a bad dude. I actually appreciate what he did, trying to protect the future. But he also, kind of a bad dad, as far as I can tell. I don't know. There's not enough information. Maybe if we had some more, I could do some more. Oh, look, it's Komaru. I think I put Komaru in S tier in my last one, but I'm going to put her in A tier. I like regular people in Danganronpa. The contrast between regular people being like sensible and the ultimates being sort of like polarized in their personalities makes a lot of sense to me. Because the ultimates, they're the best they are at what they do. Their entire lives are defined by one thing. It makes sense they'd be a bit polarized in their identities. Still, Komaru, she's alright, but she's kind of bland. I'm not putting her next to Makoto because she has way more character than Makoto. She feels more like a Hajime kind of protagonist. And I really like the way that she interacts with Toko. But after a certain point, she stops growing in the game. She goes from being meek and running away to learning to fight. But that's like the end of like quote unquote case 3, like chapter 3, something like that. I don't remember exactly. It's been a while. And I didn't pay very great attention because it was boring as all hell. Don't tell them I said that. Don't tell Ultra Despair Girl fans I said that. But the plot was interesting. The game was not. Yeah, so she's more interesting than her brother, certainly. And I do like her in the way she interacts with Toko. I just wish she was more interesting for half of the game. Because she gets kind of grating, honestly, after a while. Because he just says the same things over and over. And then she's like, a manga, my favorite. Anyway, next is Kodoko. Kodoko can lead the troubled but good people. I think Kodoko is not, actually, I'm going to take that back. I was going to say I think she's the best. I'm going to give that to Nagisa. Kodoko is a decent case. Again, I feel bad for her. Because of course I do. And she's definitely one of the more charismatic kids. But, still kind of evil. It's not really her fault, but she is evil. So, Jotaro is just way too disturbing to be any higher. Masaru, that's his name. I like him too. I think I'm going to put him under Kotoko. I feel bad for him. Okay, we'll get that out of the way. Because I do. I just think the fact that he dies first kind of loses some of the impact. Do any of them actually die? I feel like the anime decanonizes that. I don't know. But he's just alright. He's nothing special, really. You know what? I'm going to put him under Toko, because I feel like Toko deserves a higher place than him for having character growth. She goes through a lot. I can give it to her for that. This asshole, I don't remember his name. I don't remember the white one's name either. I just know that they're a confusing plot point that I don't agree with. Junko's got a light side and a dark side. No. That's not how people work. If this was like Toko's brain split in half, that would make sense. She's got a Toko side and a genocider side. But no, Junko does not have a good side. And I refuse to believe that, despite how much they try to convince us that Junko's just a troubled individual. Oh, I love my sister, that's why I have to kill her. That's basically like... that's Korekiyo levels. It's just one step away from being I love my sister, that's why I have to kill everyone else. You know? Yeah, so these bears, all the bears, none of the bears are going to go very high. Let me tell you that. But these bears are actively kind of useless to me. As far as the story goes of Danganronpa, just leave them out. There's no reason to it. I would have liked to see Junko's AI be trained in any other way. Alright, Monokotoa. Alright, she beats out her brother. I'll give her that, because she's not... Oh, I don't know. Can she beat out her brother? Oh, that's a tough one. I feel like on principle, she can't, because I'm not putting pedophilia above manipulation. I'm kind of overlooking the fact that these people, like Junko's probably killed way more people as a result of her actions than Korekiyo, because Junko, her actions don't make any sense in a like logical way. Like that would never happen in the real world, whereas Korekiyo could very much do something like that in the real world, especially if they were people who weren't in like a super like secure society, because he's an anthropologist. It's a bit slimy. Monika's actions, again, I'm treating her the same way I'm treating Junko. They led to terrible things happening, but they didn't do those things themselves. So I'm giving them, you know, a little bit of a pass on that, only for this. In real life, no passes. No passes. But for this ranking, I'll give you a little bit of passes, just to make it interesting. Monika is another one of those characters who could have been really neat, but they don't really do anything with her. She's just evil. And Danganronpa villains are always just evil, other than Izuru. So, yeah. I'm putting her below Junko because less appearances, less charismatic, less intelligent. Junko's plans are at least a little bit fun. Monika's plan is just, I'm going to kill everybody. That's not as fun. Also, I hate the way Monika treats the other kids. I just hate it. I hate the way that Junko is sort of like somebody who kills people and causes despair out of self-hatred. Monika's hatred is actually projected on everyone else. And I think that's why I hate her more. I don't even remember any of the Monikub's names, but I'm putting them below Smoogie. I'm just going to put them all there right now. I don't know why they used the art for some of them and then the sprites for others. That's weird. I hate the Monikubs. Monikubs, they suck. Let me actually organize this so that the least good ones are at the end, because that's what I've been doing. There. That's accurate. Is that Death Order? No. No, it's not. Green Lad. Again, I don't remember his name because it's been so long and I don't really care about him. Monodam. Wow, I remembered. I remember Monotaro and Monofani because they lived so long. Monosuke, and Monokid. That one's easy. Because I called them the Mono Kids most of the time anyway. They're just annoying. That's the only reason. They're the worst part of V3 until you get to the Tsumugi part. So they go under Tsumugi for being bad for most of the game, whereas Tsumugi's only bad for the last, hour. Every time they'd say, sunshine, or rise and shine, or sign, I'd be like, oh god, kill me now. They never did anything interesting. Monodam's at the top because he almost did something interesting. He almost killed Monokuma. That would have been cool. But no, alas not. If they were going to be able to pull this off, they wouldn't have Monokuma in the game. Monokuma undermines their importance so much, and he blows them up at the end and makes all the times they were threatening, which was very few times, feel a lot less significant. So, die in a hole, Monokids. Monokubs. I just did it. Next is Monokuma himself, which I feel like I can put above Junko for being Junko. Monokuma is Junko, but Monokuma's got a personality, so I'll put him right beside Junko. Just a little bit higher. What's your name? I don't remember. You're not going there. I don't remember her name. I'll call her Usami. Actually, Usami's also here. They're the same character. Get rid of Usami, because Usami's only in the game for 3 seconds. But Usami, she's alright. She's fine. She's fine. I don't know where the hell to put her. She's just fine. She's okay. I don't know. She's not Jotaro. She's Jin. She's like Jin. She's fine, but not interesting. Nagisa. Like I said, I'm going to put him at the lead of the children's squad here. Nagisa's struggle, all of the kids have a struggle, right? Abuse, sexual abuse, terrible parenting. All of them have terrible parenting, but Jotaro's is especially terrible. Nagisa's is the least gruesome, but the most psychologically worrying, He's the most, oh god, if that happened to me, I don't know how I'd do that. To me, anyway. Physical abuse, I understand that. Sexual abuse, I understand that. Obviously, they're horrible. But the idea of being kept up, for hours on end with an IV drip in your arm, studying to become smart as, a 6-year-old. Yeah, I couldn't live like that. Couldn't live like that at all. There's no escape from that, you're stuck with that for the rest of your life. Same as these things. So I guess I shouldn't be trying to equate them. That's silly. Nagisa's feels less, I think, to me, because Nagisa has a lot more control over himself, which is just probably a fact of his quote-unquote training. I think the reason I like Nagisa so much is Nagisa, like I've said a million times, he makes the most sense. Out of all the kids, he's the one actually trying to achieve their goal. All the other ones are just doing it because they're told they should by Monica, and Monica is doing it to betray every one of them so that she can be like Junko. Nagisa's the only one who actually wants to build a paradise for children where bad things can't happen to children anymore. He's the only one who actually has the good motivation that they should have from all of their experiences. And that's why I like him the best. Alright. Natsuki. Don't remember. Fuyuhiko's sister. I'll call her Kuzuryu girl. Kuzuryu girl. She can go in the troubling but okay section. I'll put her above Miu. Actually, I should put her above Nagito, honestly. You know what? I'm going to put Sato right beside her, but underneath her. Natsume. Very mean. Very, very mean. And Fuyuhiko gives us sort of a hint that maybe it's just like Miu, all a farce, because Fuyuhiko's going to lead the clan, so she has to prove she's strong so that the rest of the clan doesn't think, oh, she's just riding on Fuyuhiko's coattails. I get that. That's why she's so high up here. The reason she beats these two is because she didn't murder people. She got murdered instead by Sato. That's why Sato's below her. I understand why you might want to kill someone for being the worst person in your life. But at the same time, that's not how you deal with your problems, Sato. You don't even have a first name. First name, you know what I mean? In quotes, because it's Japan. So they'd be calling her Sato anyway. But, yeah. Plus, we don't get any information on Sato, where we get a lot of information on Natsume outside of the games. All we know about Sato is she wants to help Mahiru, and she gets her head smashed in by Fuyuhiko. So, yeah. Still more interesting than Teru. Still a better person, I'd say. Chihiro's dad. I don't remember his name either. I think it's shockingly similar to another name, but I don't remember it. Mr. Fujisaki is, he's one of those boring characters. I'll put him at the end of this because mostly because I'm mad about Ultra Despair Girls for killing him so stupidly. Oh, I've managed to survive just as long as you two have, but now I'm instantly gonna die because you made me go out of my little corner. Pfft, stupid. Just don't stand in front of the elevator doors when you can hear a giant bear monster lurking within. It's not hard. And finally, Yuta. Yuta Asahina. He is just as good as Aoi. They're interchangeable to me. They're very similar. That's why. I think I like Aoi a bit more, probably because I spent more time with her. But Yuta is pretty great. That's all I have to say. He's just pretty great. So in the end, I don't think my S tier changed at all. I think the only thing that changed is Komaru isn't in it anymore. But she's very close anyway. My A tier has shaken up a bit. Sakura moved up. I know that for sure. Fuyuhiko definitely moved up. Yuta wasn't here last time. And I don't think Ibuki was as high as she is. I really like Ibuki now. B tier... I think some positions have changed. Like Tanko, Makoto, Nikon, certainly. Maki. Blanked on that for a second. Kuru Me. Actually, I think Kuru Me might have been in B tier. C tier. This is looking pretty much the same, I think. Other than maybe Mew, I think, moved up. And then D tier, again, pretty much the same, just with more characters this time. Kokichi moved down, I believe. Byakuya, I think, also moved down. But yeah, that's me list. I hope you enjoyed this video. It's like an hour and a half long. God damn it, I added more characters. Why'd I do that? So I hope you enjoy. 3,000 subscribers? Did I ever think I'd get here? Not in this short a time. I thought it would be at least 4 years. But I guess I have ASDF movie, but it's Danganronpa to thank for that. And also, of course, gotta thank you guys for subscribing, because, 200,000 people watched that video. Only 3,000 of you subscribed. You're the real ones. I appreciate you. Like the video, though. It would very much help me. And if you somehow found this video without being a subscriber, which, it's a tier list video, so it's very possible, subscribe too. Keep in mind, opinions aren't facts. Opinions are just what I like. And I like Mahiru. Thanks for watching. Bye!